It's that time of year, and with Premier League Matchday 1 just a couple days away, we'll give our predictions of how we think the year will end. Firstly, we'll start off with our top 6, letting you know who we think will end the season securing a spot in 2024's European campaigns. Next, we'll give our predictions for bottom 3, seeing who will be sent down from the top flight. Last season, we saw Pep Guardiola's Manchester City win the league, with the Gunners coming just narrowly behind. Manchester United made their way into 3rd, and not having been in the Champions League in the previous season, this was a huge confidence boost for them. Finally, the 4th spot was going to Newcastle. This will be their first time playing Champions League football since the 02-03 season. With our predictions with next season winners, we have Manchester City securing the 4-peat. Although they saw the loss of a few role players such as Mahrez and Gundogan, they managed to keep a few others, with Bernardo Silva and Kyle Walker likely signing contract extensions before the season opener. Furthermore, they completed the signing of Josko Gvardiol, a young Croatian centre-back with great potential. Man City are building fantastic depth with plenty of young players, while still maintaining a handful of veterans. All in all, they have no holes in their game and for the moment are too good for them not to win the league yet again. In second, we have Arsenal. Last season they were on top for 90% of the campaign. However, this stat is slightly misleading. They had a fantastic start to the season, while Man City had dropped points in many games leading up to Christmas break. For me, it was never in doubt that Man City would find good form when it mattered most, that form being seen in the crucial 4-1 defeat. Arsenal crumbled when it matters most. A hugely disappointing end to last season's campaign saw them fumble the league, and an equally disappointing end to the season prior had them lose a top 4 spot when they secured a mere 3 of 9 points, losing out to their London rivals Tottenham. They have a young squad with a young manager, and this could explain it. In the offseason, they signed even more young players in Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, and Jurgen Timber. Arsenal have a squad so young with such potential that I believe they will only go up from here and will really be a thorn in Pep Guardiola's side. However, I don't believe they quite have what it takes to win the league. In third, we have Liverpool. Liverpool had a howler of a season, showing weaknesses all around, from defense to attack. Injury crises affected them in defense and midfield. Virgil van Dijk was coming off an ACL tear and hadn't been quite himself. Trent Alexander-Arnold has really struggled in defense, especially in terms of his spatial awareness, and Konate had been injured for the most part of last season as well. Liverpool were forced to adapt and play casuals as starters, below their true level. In midfield, Thiago was injured as well. Fabinho and Henderson did play, but are old and aren't the same world-class midfielders they were back when they won the UCL and Premier League. Liverpool played their youngsters, with Elliott, Jones, and Bajcetic getting plenty of game time. Although they show potential for the future, they cannot be relied on to carry a midfield of a Premier League caliber winning team. In attack, Darwin Núñez was one of Liverpool's most expensive signing ever. It is being considered as a flop. It's not all downsides though. Liverpool's midfield being their greatest struggle has been significantly improved with the signing of McAllister and Szoboszlai, young players with immense potential. And to fill in the void Fabinho left at CDM, Liverpool looked to bring in Caicedo or Lavia. For the time being, the transfer sagas go on. However, if a void like such can be filled in with one of those players, their midfield will look to be set very solid. In attack, Luis Diaz is finally back from injury and has played very well throughout preseason, with Mo Salah showing no signs of slowing down, and Gakpo proving his worth with every game he plays. It's looking quite bright. It's also looking good for Núñez. His first season was not a flop. Comparing his first season with Benfica and his first at Liverpool, we see he dropped similar stats, around 14-15 goals. However, in his second season, his performance skyrocketed, having netted 34 for the Portuguese team. He's still finding some form and confidence. Under a class manager like Klopp, Liverpool fans have hope he become the store boy they need. Finally, in defense, all players are back and recovered. They are finding confidence and playing with chemistry. If Liverpool can avoid another crisis, they can easily secure the 3rd place spot. And for the cherry on top, this is a recurring cycle for Klopp's Reds. Suffer a painful season of injury crises, come back the season stronger and compete. In 2019, they secured a top 4 spot thanks to a header goal from their goalkeeper. In 2021, they were 2 games away from winning 4 trophies. In 2022, they suffer a blow from injuries. Next year, who knows what will happen. In 4th, Manchester United. In Ten Hag's short spell, he's already transformed this team, made class signings, made big decisions, and gotten rid of plenty of deadweight. They replaced a temporary striker fix of Weghorst for a young striker with plenty of potential. Rasmus Højlund replaced an older version of De Gea with Onana, a player Ten Hag knows very well from the time together in Ajax. Manchester United have had a strong offseason and are developing a good young squad that trusts their manager. And speaking of managers, finding one that they can keep for a long time going forward is a huge relief for United fans. United are still developing from a team's perspective and a manager perspective. They are still fixing holes and improving youngsters. Bringing a broken down team to greatness takes time. For these reasons, I believe they'll manage to keep a top 4 spot, but aren't quite at the point where they'll push for the title. Newcastle have made a few decent signings, most notably the signing of Sandro Tonali. This will strongly boost their midfield, and adding on to already one of the most solid defenses in the league, they have a strong squad all around. However, last season they ended with a lot of draws, and the least amount of wins from any other top 4 team, lacking in attacking creativity. Newcastle will pose a threat to Manchester United and Liverpool, but I predict they will just narrowly come short. 6th, I believe Chelsea will redeem themselves from their severe shortcomings of last season and secure their final European spot. They have made countless signings over the summer, plenty of young players, and a new manager with plenty of experience under his belt. Maurizio Pochettino has done fantastic things under his career. He's shown his class most notably under his time with Tottenham. He had them in very solid form domestically. From his 4 years managing Tottenham, he finished in the top 4 3 out of 4 seasons. Additionally, he helped them reach the Champions League final, thereby performing very well in Europe. Chelsea have brought in many young players, such as Nicholas Jackson and Christopher Nkunku, to strengthen their attack, as well as Axel Disasi and Igochukwu for defensive help. Chelsea are in a rebuilding phase for sure, and with so many new players in the club, it will take time for adjusting. This could cause Chelsea to have a rough start to the season, but that aside, I predict they will recover strongly and finish off 6th. Having covered top 6, let's move on from European spots and further down the table to the relegation positions. Last season, we saw the departure of Leicester, Leeds, and Southampton, and the promotion of Premiership clubs of Burnley, Luton Town, and Sheffield United. It doesn't happen often, but last year not a single newly promoted club had gone back down, but rather clubs that had been in the top flight for years. I believe history will repeat itself, but in nearly the opposite fashion. I predict Luton Town and Sheffield will go back down, alongside current Prem team Everton. Although it's sad to say, I predict Luton Town, who I have had the craziest journey to the first division, will go back down. They ended last season with only a mere 80 points. I say mere because it puts them closer to the 2 teams right beneath them than the 2 above them. Compared to the level of Premiership teams, they are not extraordinary, so playing against Premier League level teams will be really difficult. Additionally, they're a smaller club and have spent much less than their competition. Taking a look at teams that will likely be fighting in the bottom half of the Prem table, those teams being Forest, Bournemouth, Wolves, Burnley, West Ham, etc., they've all spent large sums of money in order to improve their squad, upwards of 40 to 70 million euros. Moving on, Sheffield United will also drop down. Similar to Luton Town, they haven't spent as much money as their competition. And leading into a new league of high-quality football where money plays a hugely significant role, I believe this will hinder them, especially compared to their competition. Everton will be the final team to go down. They avoided relegation thanks to a win on the final match day of the season. They were on the cusp of relegation for too long, and this should be enough of a sign that drastic changes need to be made. Everton have been in the top flight for too long to be suffering like this. In the offseason, their most notable moves have been bringing in Dan Juma on loan, signing Ashley Young on a free, and having Andre Gomez return back to the club. Ashley Young is a decent player, but he's also 38 years old and may be a short-term fix. But it's also likely that not the change they should be making. Dan Juma and Gomez have some quality to them, but are they really good enough to bring Everton out of the mud? They brought in Sean Dyche last season, and he did help them to avoid relegation. I suppose this is the only upside. However, all in all, I don't believe they're going to be good enough to stay up for another year. So to conclude, Man City wins the league, with Arsenal 2nd, Liverpool 3rd, Man United 4th, Newcastle 5th, and Tottenham 6th. For relegation, we believe Luton Town, Sheffield United, and Everton will go down. Finally, thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure to keep up with your ball knowledge.